Well, Garrett,
Yes.
they're making another James Bond movie.
Who?
James Bond?
No, I said who.
James
Who's
Bond.
making another James Bond movie? Gosh.
Oh, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon's making another Jack Bauer movie.
Yeah, Jack Reacher.
Yep. Ethan Hunt. Wait, that doesn't work at all.
Ethan.
Why are all of the super spy names start with J? Except for Ethan Hunt.
Jason Bourne.
James Bond, Jack Bauer, Jack Reacher, Jack in the Box,
Jack Ryan.
Jack Skellington.
Wait a minute. Jack Nicholson. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Michael Scarn.
Huh?
Tie some yarn. Anyway. They are making another James Bond. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Really? I thought they would have been out of ideas by now. Anywho.
Well, haven't you seen the latest trailers for Top Gun and Cats? All you have to do is redo the same thing over again.
Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum. That's topical. That just came out yesterday when this goes live. Or 2 days ago? I don't know. Maybe a week ago?
Edit it tonight?
2 weeks ago? Oh, God, no. After this, I'm just going to bed. I'm going to pop like 9 Benadryls and fall asleep.
But why male models?
Are you kidding me? I just told you. Derek Zoolander in James Bond 25.
Is that what they're calling it? James Bond 25?
It doesn't have a name yet. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Digital Drive-In Podcast, where we talk about some of our favorite movies ever and why we like them and what's so good about them. I got to get a new intro or something that's a little catchier than like favorite movie ever. Why they good? Please listen.
I think the new James Bond movie should be called The Turbulence of Flatulence.
That's pretty good. That's actually really good, but it's like played off the same way as everything else. Like a big word flatulence has to flash on the screen while like there's dancing ladies and like Adele singing.
And like tubas going off in the back.
Yeah.
That's not a tuba.
Flatulence.
That's a trumpet.
This is off the rails already. Anyway, we decided today to do something a little different than talking about just one movie that we've seen 1,000 times that we like. Instead, we're going to talk about a movie coming out in about a year, probably. When's it out? They're shooting it right now. It's got to be more than a year.
I know. Quantum of Shoelace.
Oh. Sky Butt.
Sky Mall.
Oh! Buttfall.
Just when you thought the last butt had been dropped.
Casino Roy fuck.
I'll laugh, but that's terrible.
Casino fuck all. Casino fuck you all.
Cheeseburger Royale.
James Cum. James Bondage.
That's like, you really can't. James Bond's character names are already basically slut names. I mean, you can't.
Oh, that's true. Anywho, Garrett, why are we talking about Bond 25? Why did we have this epiphany the other day to do this episode instead of
that's all
a traditional episode?
It was literally just off the cuff, which is fuck backwards.
Wow. We were going to do something else, but maybe we'll do that next week.
They don't need to know that. Then they won't tune in until next week. They'll just stop it right now.
Well, that's the same amount of viewers we get every week anyway.
So hey, how about James Bond? What do you think?
Who's that?
That's my joke. Also, don't you think having a white male as James Bond is like overrated at this point? We need to like branch out a little bit.
No, I think the white men should have everything.
Wow.
I wish everybody could see my face, because then it would have made the joke better. But
because
is that where we're starting? Are we starting with
you're not actually white? Is that
are we starting with Lynch and not David? Where do you want to start? I have notes written down, but
I can't see your paper.
Criticize my writing.
I can't see your paper.
Should I write them out for you then?
No, you should be in control of the podcast and don't allow me to
Wow. Maybe you should try leading one for once.
Wait, but you have the notes.
My notes, not yours.
My notes. Minox. Minox.
I'm not even capitalizing it because of your dumbass.
You just typing it out, Butts McGee? So there I was at the R. Kelly concert in the front row.
Now you're just stealing material from somebody, like Dan. So, Garrett, I
Dolly
suppose,
Parton. What? Yes?
We did an episode on a James Bond movie that's actually from the Craig era, so we can incorporate that a little bit.
Okay.
Because we talked about Casino Royale, one of our first podcasts, right? Did we not?
You know we did. Why are you asking?
I don't actually know. I was in an accident. I forgot everything. I don't even know who I am. But there's been 3 Bond films since that. Not since our podcast, since Casino Royale. We probably talked about that too, but, you know.
So, best side James Bond character. I'm going to go with Joe Don Baker.
Can you shut the fuck up for a half minute?
No.
Anyway, because the last James Bond movie was Spectre, which I don't think either of us like, right?
Right, because it's a mess, and they did the con thing that J.J. Abrams got flack over.
Well, this is a sequel to Spectre, Garrett, because it takes place after it and is actually direct continuity to it. You know, most of the times James Bond's movies kind of are just one-off adventures or whatever. This is directly following. James Bond is in retirement with Lea Seydoux' character. Butchered that name. Whatever. It's ironic considering my name. And, you know, Blofeld is going to return to it. So what do you think? Do you think they should have left the mess that was Spectre behind? Or why are we picking up this lack over here? Are we going to be done with it in 2 minutes? Or is it going to carry all the way through?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is like too many cooks in the kitchen, or like too many ingredients. They're throwing everything and the kitchen sink in. I just feel like there's so many characters, and then you have the burden of having to tie everything into the previous movie. I think it's going to be a disaster.
But the thing is there's a lot of really good pieces in place for this movie, which is really odd. I guess there was for Spectre too, because Sam Mendes is a great director, right?
But he fumbled it.
Yeah, but like Cary Fukunaga is an exceptional director, I think. So having him kind of be in the reins of this might give it some kind of, I don't know, difference to it. And the writing staff is still the people who wrote Spectre, yes, but they also wrote Casino Royale and Skyfall. And then the script is being punched up by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who did Fleabag, which I just finished, which means I have no idea what the hell this tone of this movie is going to be, because she was brought in late into the production, like while they were shooting, to do punch-ups to the script that they were shooting with to make it like more lively, I think. But like Fleabag is a dark comedy. It's quite dark and like emotional over just being laugh out loud funny constantly. So I really don't know. It is going to be a mess, I think. We basically just did the entire podcast in 2 sentences.
But it's like, to me, I think this is one of those franchises, much like DC or other big properties, where it's the producers that are running the show and not the talent.
Sure.
So,
but it's the same producers that did. It's weird because like Casino Royale and Skyfall are excellent movies. I think they're my top 2 Bond movies. And
but then I think like
Quantum of people involved in this.
Quantum of Solace was like one of the worst James Bond movies I felt, especially modern.
I would agree. I think it's probably the worst of the 4 Craig so far.
And I felt like Spectre was a real big step back. So, I mean, if it's like the original Star Trek movie series, where it alternates between being the best one ever and then a crappy one.
Well, that's why I wrote pattern, is because it's kind of setting itself up for that, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if that's the case, then maybe this will be good, but I don't have the confidence that it's going to be.
Well, it's such a weird thing, because there was a point where Danny Boyle was supposed to write and direct this movie, and then he left over creative differences. But then they brought in like Carrie, who was, had a history with True Detective of fighting somebody who wouldn't allow creativity, right? Him and Pizza, as we talked about in our True Detective podcast, did argue frequently about some kind of allegedly about how to make it visually interesting as well as just being interesting in the writing. So it's really interesting to me that they got rid of Danny Boyle, who then went on to make like the apparently kind of boring and not very creative Yesterday. Why would you get rid of him but then pick up a director who probably is going to be the same way? And I don't know, man, because like there's a lot of other really good parts in, like the cast for this movie is great. Again, like I said, the writing staff could be good if it's a good story, but I just don't get it. Like, what is this going to be? What's this movie going to be? Did you see that? Did you see that reveal stream a while when they did that a few months back, or did you see anything for that?
No.
It was like, here's the big reveal stream, and then they just like revealed that like Ana de Armas is in the movie, and then they didn't even give a title, and that was about it. And then they were all in Jamaica, and they're like, yeah, we're shooting it in Jamaica, and I'm like, wow, this is like the Fire Festival documentary. Where they're all there like hyping it up in an exotic location.
Didn't Craig get hurt though?
Yeah, I know. That's another thing too with the Trouble production, is it's just constantly like the movie's plagued, because then wasn't there the explosion that injured or killed somebody or something, and Craig got injured, but he's back. It's changed directors a couple of times. It's changed writers a couple of times. It's going through rewrites on the fly. It's weird, dude. It's just weird.
Like, it's rare when this happens that the movie ends up being worth it.
Right. This is getting to the point where it's like a Man Who Killed Don Quixote kind of like, okay, is there a higher up power that's just fucking with this production or what? And then apparently that's not very good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a completely different topic for a different
modern. That's modern Terry Gilliam, but we don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that was rights issues too.
Yeah. Let's just say Brazil's in the past.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things, like even with Orson Welles and David Lynch and things like that, it's hard when someone doesn't want to bend their vision to what the corporate people want. Well, then the funding dries up.
Yeah.
One of the things we never have to worry about with James Bond is they're going to put some sort of a budget behind it. You're not going to have like a low budget James Bond movie.
Maybe there should be.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be.
And I think it's one of those things where you bring in hired guns to finish the movie, and that's why you bring in professional people that have been able to work with other difficult writers or supervisors. And I think that's probably what's going on here is they're getting people that the production staff thinks can squeeze out some more dollars and get the thing finished, since they're running into so many production delays.
And this is Craig's last film too, so maybe it's just kind of like who gives a shit? I don't know.
Yeah, hasn't he said that a couple times though?
Yeah, they always offer him back, but I think this time it was like the actual last one. I don't know, like they were gonna write it like it was his last one, because he always like makes one and is like, that's it, I'm done. But they're like, well, we didn't give you like an exit. He's like, yeah, you didn't give any of the other Bonds an exit too, but whatever. But whatever. They tried to make all four of these Craig movies one story in Spectre, so fuck it. I think that was my biggest problem with it, with Spectre, when like Blofeld reveals himself and he's like, I was in charge of Mads Mikkelsen and also the guy from No Country for Old Men, Javier Bardem is his name. I was the leader. Remember that? Beats the hell out of me, man. But I guess we can, instead of just like getting pissed off, kind of break down some of the aspects that there are there. Maybe some of the good, so we can try to find some hope. Like Jeffrey Wright is back, Garrett, as Felix Leiter.
It doesn't look like anything to me.
Wow. What door? But like, it's crazy to me. Well, that they didn't use him in the other movies. I think we talked about that in the Casino Royale podcast as well, but I am happy he's coming back. Like, I'm beyond happy he's coming back. I think it was.
I wish he had his own movie.
So do I. I don't know why we haven't had a Felix Leiter movie yet. Honestly, it's ridiculous. I don't want to. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to talk about like Black James Bond and be like, well, you got Felix Leiter already. But
Well, he's a different kind of character. It's
yeah,
I just and then the name Leiter. Like you could do so many word plays with that and have it like he's burning up the screen. And,
better start your campfires.
Get a spark with lighter. I don't know. But anyway.
Do you think that because allegedly all of the movies were supposed to happen in between Quantum and Skyfall, do you think that when Jeffrey Wright comes in his movie, he's going to roll in a wheelchair? Because like he got his legs bit off by a shark in License to Kill. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember the R-rated James Bond, License to Kill? What a great movie.
The ridiculous movie.
That's an awesome movie. Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the thing is, like, I always was under the impression that the air quotes reboot of the James Bond franchise would be like, we're going to show you why James Bond became who he is.
Right.
But it never really turned into that.
No. They did like the really quick origin story, I guess. And then, like I said, all the movies were supposed to have taken place between Quantum and Skyfall. Because Quantum is immediately after Casino Royale and Skyfall is like supposed to be well into James Bond's career.
But he doesn't really act any different.
No, just as rapey as ever before. Wait, that's Spectre. Remember when he murders the chick's husband and Spectre and then like forces himself on her in her house and she says no, but he does it anyway?
Isn't that great?
Oh,
what a
yeah.
hero.
What an idol for men. I can't believe they want to change him. He's been the same for 50 years and we should never evolve.
That's like, I think they can still take like the core elements of the character and still have him be fun, but just don't make him rapey.
Pretty much.
Like, is
I mean, I even
really
felt
difficult
weird.
to do?
I felt weird when I was watching Spectre in the theater. When he walked in, I was like, this hasn't happened in a while for these, right? He wasn't rapey in Skyfall. He wasn't rapey in Quantum or Casino Royale. He was kind of rapey in Casino Royale. There's that one scene. But, like, yeah, you can keep all of the character. You can just make him a womanizer without making him rapey. Just need to cast a really good-looking actor. And then everybody that watches it will be like, yeah, of course he gets laid a lot.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to have him be a womanizer. I mean, you could literally make everything be consensual and fine.
Sure.
Like, when you're in control of what the characters do and say completely, you can change that because they're not real.
Sure.
You know, they can be one-dimensional. So I don't know why they don't try to do that. It's not that difficult to write someone, find someone else that, like, you know, appreciates or is, you know, like excited for who it is that they are. I
can't believe they're going to kill Lea Seydoux in like 10 minutes just so they can have James Bond again. Like, why even make it a sequel to Spectre, man? Like, obviously they're going to kill her, right? They're going to do On Her Majesty's Secret Service again, basically.
I mean, it's possible.
What are they going to do? Is she just going to be there? They tried to make her like strong in Spectre and like stand up with him and all that and fight with him. But like, what are they going to do? I don't trust them enough to do that. Maybe they are. Maybe that's why they got Phoebe Waller-Bridge, is because they're going to actually have her be a strong, like, foil. Like, it's going to be Bond and I don't even remember Seydoux's character's name, but it'll be the two of them kicking ass kind of thing. And they brought in Waller-Bridge because it was like, we don't know how to write women without making them objects. Can you help, please? I don't know.
There's too many characters.
There really is. Who are the new characters in this movie? Who are the characters, period? Do you have anything up off the top of your head? Because I'm bringing up IMDb.
No, I don't have anything up, but we know there's Bond, and there's Blofeld, and there's whoever Rami Malek is playing.
Right.
Then we have the girl. Then we have the new girl.
Yeah, Ana de Armas. Or the new Bond girl, or the, like, Lynch. Lashana Lynch, this character.
Yeah, right, Lynch.
Sure, which we can get to in a little bit. Yeah, because if I just go down the cast, and I mean, it's not in order, I can make it in order. Like he said, Daniel Craig, well, James Bond, fucking Madeline Swan is the name of Lea Seydoux' character. Blofeld, Ana de Armas, Q and M, and of course are in it. Tanner's in it again. He was in all 4 of them in this era. We already talked about Lighter. They have to have a money penny aspect to it. Rami Malek is a bad guy. I'm assuming Billy Magnuson, who was in Game Night, is probably also going to be a bad guy. He'll probably end up being the henchman or something. But it really beats me because at the end of the day, Rami Malek is really going to be the henchman, is he not? Blofeld is going to be the main villain, and then Rami Malek is going to be like his apprentice or some shit.
Unless they do like a.
What if they make Rami Malek the real Blofeld?
I hope they don't do like an Iron Man 3.
Well, they can't, because at the end of Spectre, there was the car blew up and like cut his face with the iconic face cut. And all
So it looks like Dr. Evil.
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous. I hope that he's in a wheelchair in this, and I hope the movie ends with an exact recreation of what's the one called where the helicopter picks him up and drops him.
It drops him into the
reactor.
Yeah, jeez, that would be. I would love that.
That's how the movie ends. Then he flies off into the sunset. It's like,
but they can't use CG at all. No, everything has to be a dummy.
You have to no. I was gonna say legit. Just drop Christoph Waltz into a reactor.
I would like to see him in other things after this movie, so let's not do that.
Yeah. I mean, there is a plot synopsis out. Did you know that?
No.
Bond has left active service. His peace is short-lived when his old friend Felix Leiter from the CIA turns up asking for help, leading Bond onto the trail of a mysterious villain armed with a dangerous new technology. So Rami Malek is going to be playing Mr. Fucking Robot because they just want to typecast him, and that's about it. So, I mean, we're doing this before we have a trailer, too. We're just kind of making predictions, I guess. There's nothing we can, like, I don't know. Because, like, Lashana Lynch is playing the new 007, right? That's a big point of controversy.
Yeah, and you have to introduce her and have her. I mean, you can't just have her in the movie for 7 minutes.
How much? Well, how much you want to bet she'll be at the opening? It'll be her and Leiter, and then at the end of it, she'll die.
Wait, is she's supposed to be the?
She's the new 007.
Yeah, but she's not supposed to be American, is she?
No, but you can still have them work together. They've worked together before. CIA and MI6.
But then why would they need to come to James? Like, you can't already set up your new character as not being competent enough. So it's like you have the Americans and the Europeans working together and they can't get it done, so they have to go to a retired guy? That doesn't make any sense. That would be fucking stupid script writing.
Yeah, well, unless they bring him in as a consultant so that they don't kill her, and then you have a group of people, basically. Instead of just Bond doing shit, you have like... It's like Guardians of the Galaxy with James Bond. So you have Bond, you have Leiter, you have Lynch, you have Sado, you have Ana de Armas, and they travel around doing shit, and they get help from Q and all them along the way.
No, you know what's going to happen.
It's going to be generic as shit.
No, let me tell you what's going to happen. Leiter is going to reach out to MI6. And they're not going to help him because they know something. They have some sort of a secret thing that they don't want the CIA knowing.
Ooh, another mole.
So Leiter has no choice but to go to Bond, whom he trusts and he knows has all the connections and can still figure things out.
And Bond tells him to fuck off because
no, Bond ends up agreeing for whatever reason. And much like Wonder Woman, he keeps running into this new black girl and doesn't know who she is.
Right.
And then at the end, they're all going to say, "Is she with you?" I thought she was with you. No, I like that wouldn't surprise me if that's exactly what it does. So that way they don't have to worry about explaining who she is or what her background is. She's the new mysterious character that if everything works out, she will have her own movie next time.
Right.
But if it doesn't work out, you can just kind of drop the storyline pretty easily.
Yeah. So would they prep her to be the new James Bond? Just not have the name James Bond?
Yeah.
They retired Bond with Craig and then continue this franchise. You just have her be it instead.
Yeah, I think that way you could...
Bond, guys, stop freaking out. Like, we didn't make a female Bond or whatever like that. It's a completely different character. Just the 007.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about the controversy altogether. We keep talking at the same time. You go.
That's no problem. It's you could keep the 007 or even give her like a, whatever. I don't know what her name is supposed to be. It's got to be something snappy.
It just says Nomi.
Like Nomi?
Yep.
See, that sounds like some 15-year-old writing a script that's like she's a mystery and she wants James Bond to get to know her. Her name's going to be Nomi.
I think you're thinking too much in the past for James Bond.
Would you like to get to know me? You know what I mean? Hi, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
Hi, Governor. You know me, huh?
Crikey.
Ana de Armas' character is Paloma, which is a drink, apparently. Mixed tequila with grapefruit flavored soda. It's named after La Paloma, or the Dove, a popular folk song composed in the
that was also... It was a Mystery Science Theater movie where the main bad guy had a daughter and her name was Paloma.
Ah.
Or it's a city in Greece. I can't remember. Maybe it was both.
I don't know why. Why did we do this without a trailer or anything?
Paloma. To get all those beautiful YouTube hits.
What YouTube hits? Are we just going to write Bond, a black woman? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet.
See how Disney is ruining James Bond, too. It's like Disney's not even involved. It's going to be interesting. I'm wondering who's shooting it. The guy that shot La La Land and First Man is shooting this. Which is fine by me. Maybe it'll look good. Maybe it'll have.
I hope it's a secret Moonraker reboot.
Ooh, that'd be cool. Imagine that though, if they keep like the entire third act of the movie secret, and Blofeld has a base on the moon or some shit. He has to go destroy it.
What? Wasn't Grace Jones? She wasn't in Moonraker, was she? Or was she?
No, that was View to a Kill.
And that was the one with Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
They ought to redo that one.
I don't like that one.
I know, that's why it needs to be redone.
Has a great theme song though.
The Duran Duran.
Yeah.
You would like that.
Beating you with a view to a dick fart.
Make sure it doesn't explode.
Wee! Is it Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
Make sure it doesn't explode.
No, it was the Steelers wheel. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair.
Did Bob Dylan ever redo that song? I'm so scared.
You're doing it like Kermit the Frog is Bob Dylan.
God.
Why are there so many songs about falling off your chair?
Here's a review of Bond 25 on Letterboxd. Even though it's not out yet. They brought in Phoebe Waller-Bridge to teach Bond about consent.
What, is she gonna like beat him?
No, she'll just pop in every once in a while and look at the camera and be like, no. Anyway, this movie's going to be interesting. Is it not? What else can we do for this movie? I don't even know. What should they do with this afterwards? After they're done with this mess, dude, what should they do from here?
I mean, I think, like, you can't do better stunts than Mission Impossible.
No.
And you really can't get, like, more brutal and keep it PG-13.
I was gonna fight you so fucking hard when you said it's a good thing you put that in. Yeah.
All right. And
you said you can't do more brutal than Bourne. I was gonna be like John Wick, The Raid.
No, yeah, that's what I was.
The Bourne trilogy instead of Bourne Jason. Bring him back for another.
And you can't like have tits and stuff either. And keep it PG-13. So it's like, to me, the natural progression, much like I wish they would make a Batman movie where he was actually a detective through the whole thing. Why not make
2020
a Bond movie where he's like the entirety of the thing is espionage and sneaking around?
Tinker Tailor Soldier Bond.
That it wouldn't fit in that world.
Tinker Bond or Soldier rape.
No, it doesn't need to be a Leclerc novel.
Isn't that a donut?
That's an eclair.
I 100% agree with you. I think that it should be a high espionage over action. I think kind of it's important to switch it up every once in a while. Like you said, they're not doing what they were trying to do better than any of their imitators, I guess, right?
I would love for the first 15 minutes of the film to not have any dialogue.
It's not going to happen with this one, but with 25.
I know. I'm just saying. Could you
I would love
imagine
for there to be most of the film without dialogue, and that's why
Could
there's
you
only
imagine
one man for the job.
a James Bond film where he infiltrates someplace to get some sort of information, and it's all one long take, and nobody says anything?
Yeah, it could be this. You watch True Detective.
Mm-hmm.
What if it happens? He's done it before. What if that's the only reason they hired him? Hey, we saw that 7-minute take. Can you bump that up to about 14? And then, yeah, James Bond, though.
That's the thing, is they're doing this to make money, not for the art of making a Bond film.
I know.
People would walk out if nothing happened.
That's why I'm going to make a high espionage thriller done in one long take.
Nah, you would do Man from U.N.C.L.E. It would be silly.
Movie. I love that movie.
And I need to watch it again because I wanted it to be serious, even though I should have known better. Man from U.N.C.L.E.
It's called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Why would it be serious?
I guess I didn't think it was going to be so silly.
It is silly. Anyway, Edgar Wright should do a James Bond movie. I want to talk about silly.
No.
Christopher Nolan should do a Bond movie.
I think he would do a really good Bond movie.
I think what you're talking about with minimal dialogue, he could pull off, to be honest, because Dunkirk has like 10 lines, the entire thing. So I think he'd be good at it, to be honest. And I know that's kind of a meme, right? Chris Nolan should do a Bond movie, but I think there's truth to it. Yorgos should do a Bond movie.
Panos Cosmatos should do a Bond movie.
Oh, God.
Set in the 60s.
Jeez. I just think they should definitely evolve after this, because I think if they do another Spectre style movie, the franchise will be pretty close to tanked. I don't know. How much did Spectre make? A shitload? Probably a shitload. Probably close to $1 billion.
Yeah, I don't think it was. Well, I mean, maybe it was really popular.
Skyfall was over $1 billion. Spectre was 880 million.
Yeah, but
that seems really high.
But that's with a budget of 300 million.
245. That's not even close to 3.
Oh, on Wikipedia it says 245 to 3.
I don't know. I'm on Box Office Mojo. 245 flat is what they said. I could see that though.
Of course, I mean, you also
remember when the Spectre movie? Remember when Spectre won the fucking Oscar for Best Original Song, despite having probably the worst Bond song in the entire franchise? I remember.
So they said that apparently there are proofs of there being $100 million spent on marketing, and then an additional $21.5 million was spent on television advertisements.
Jeez.
So that's where they're saying it could be as high as $350 million budget. From
Damn.
Wikipedia. If I didn't already mention that.
So, I mean, I don't know. If this one makes a shitload of money, they're probably not going to change it at all, though. That's the thing. Because I would love to see it go to that espionage, slow-paced, thriller kind of stuff. And I think I want to rewatch On Her Majesty's Secret Service. From what I remember, that's what it is. Right? Do you remember it offhand?
It's been a while since I've seen it.
I think that was why it was like Nolan and Tarantino's favorite Bond movie, that it was that quiet espionage kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing is Skyfall only had a budget of 150 to 200 million.
Yeah.
And made 1.9 billion. So they increased it even more and it made 200 million less.
It was a shit movie, I think, right? Everybody watched Skyfall and it had the Adele song hype behind it, I think. And so it got really hyped up and there was the word of mouth aspect to it. And then I think it was the opposite, because I know a lot of people were really sour on the theme beforehand. And the movie's trailers just made it not look good. They were doing that Into Darkness thing, like you said, where it's like, no, he's not Blofeld. Just kidding. He is. Anything else? What do you think?
No, I was looking to see if the original screenwriter or the main screenwriter had any interesting things about him, but not really.
Let the sky fall. Let the sky fall. Who was the original writer? Purvis?
On Wikipedia it says Scott Burns.
Okay. Contagion The Informant. Born Ultimatum that's not bad.
Yeah, but I don't think he was the only one involved in that. And then they were also
Because then there's Neal Purvis and Robert Wade.
Yeah, he was the second of 3 screenplays, and he also isn't the story.
Who's the story writer?
Tony Gilroy.
I don't know who that is.
He wrote Dolores Claiborne, Armageddon, Devil's Advocate, The Bourne Trilogy, Michael Clayton, Nightcrawler. Well, I guess he was just a producer on Nightcrawler. It was his brother that wrote it.
Fukunaga has a hand in the script as well.
I saw that.
What has he written? Beasts of No Nation is really, really good. He wrote it, which is pretty good. I feel like it would have been better if he directed, honestly, but they kicked him off because he was going to make it too dark. You heard that story where they kicked him off because it was going to be too dark and inaccessible? That wouldn't make any money.
No, I didn't hear that.
Apparently, he was just wanted to make it really fucked up. He wanted to do like the run a train in scene kind of thing from the book, and a whole lot of more fucked up shit. He did Maniac, which I didn't really watch. He only wrote 1 episode though. So anyway, man, what else do you want to do for this one? What else do you think? Because it is kind of hard to do, I think, before we have a
that's more of a
trailer or anything. This is
it's just more
the,
like
the fact
thoughts.
that it's such a shit show right now before we even have any information on it, I think is why we're talking about it. Comic-Con is this weekend, so it might even have a trailer or something. It might be there. Who knows?
I mean, they're not even finished with principal filmmaking, are they?
Oh, maybe not. But I mean, there's been trailers that have come out before they're done shooting before.
I think it would just be like a teaser.
Maybe a name, which would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's more like just our thoughts on Bond, what we think about the 25th film, the fact that the 007 controversy isn't even really a controversy.
I mean, it went away pretty quick, but yeah, we didn't even really talk about it. How do you feel about that?
I mean, we could talk about that. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, me neither. Why would I give a shit? I mean that in a good way. Why should I give a shit, you know?
Right.
Like,
I mean, I care
if
about
she
whether
was James Bond. I don't really give a shit. Is she right for the job? Cool. Let's go for it then. I want to see it in action.
Yeah. Is she her own character or trying to play? Is she trying to replicate Daniel Craig or Sean Connery or Timothy Dalton or Roger Moore or any of the others that I can't think of?
No, I hope it isn't generic. I hope her character isn't generic and that they actually do good with it.
Right.
Yeah, who knows? It's not really like you said, we can't talk that much about it because it's not really a controversy, right?
Right. There's once you see the film and you're like, I didn't really like the character she played, or it didn't really fit in the story they were trying to tell, that would be one thing. But it's like them just specifically casting anyone and saying that they're eventually going to move into the role of the new 007. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any thoughts one way or the other about it.
They begun production at the end of April. So I don't know if it's still going on.
Gotcha.
But Waller-Bridge was brought on before they started production, which isn't bad. So that could help a little. Because Fleabag is so incredibly well written. And apparently so is her other show, Killing Eve, as well. I've heard great things about. So who knows? Maybe she'll breathe some life into it a little bit more. Maybe it'll help. Interestingly enough, if she receives an on-screen credit for going over the script and all that, she'll be the first female writer credited on a Bond title since Dr. No. Her Irish writer Joanna Harwood was brought in to rework the original and was received an adaptation credit on its 1963 follow-up From Russia with Love. So that's almost 50 years over 50 years probably, without a female writer in a Bond film.
Well, there you go.
Well, slap my ass and call me grandma. I think that's the end of a podcast.
Sounds like a plan to me, sir.
So if you all made it to the end of this, I'm sorry.
Congratulations.
Because this was kind of a little bit of a mess, but we just wanted to give our general thoughts. We had a whim while we were talking the other day that we really wanted to talk about kind of the trouble production that this was having and some of the controversy. And especially I think we wanted to talk about where it could go next. And I think it's pretty plain and simple to see that we both want the franchise to change and kind of get slow and methodical or something, kind of become different, evolve, go back to espionage or go into espionage if you don't think the other films have done it, which I don't really think they have. So it'd be interesting to get a good look at that again, because Bond 26 is going to be different. Foreseeably, Craig is not coming back. There'll probably be a change of hands in a lot of ways. So maybe it's time for a tonal change in the whole thing. Right, Garrett?
Yes.
So maybe we'll do this one when it comes out, whether we like it or not. And then we can compare our thoughts on this right now to when the movie actually comes out, whenever that may be, to see what we can do. Maybe we should do Skyfall in the meantime, because I've been really itching to watch that. Any other thoughts on Bond 25, the untitled Bond film?
What do you think the title should be?
Last one.
the last Bondi.
Bondi Vet.
Rise of the 007.
Oh gosh. No one's ever really gone. When they show Blowfield. What do you think this title should be?
Bond and Bond again.
Never say never a Bond. In Bondage, the James Bond retirement marriage story. That's the thing, is we're all like thinking that it's going to be an action film, but in reality, I think we're just going to get like 50 Shades of Grey, except that's Bond's retirement. Him and Lea Seydoux. It's NC-17. Lots of whips. Can't just have silence after that.
Sure I can.
God damn. Anyway, if you like the show,
Too bad.
you can follow us on Twitter at digital_podcast. You can also follow each of us on Twitter. You can follow me at Alex's Reviews and Garrett at Garrett DiNardo. You can also follow both of us on our letterbox. Links in the description below for that, where you can stalk us on all of our movie watching. And we'll probably do whatever we had in mind for this week next week. So, yeah. Anyway, if you didn't like this episode because we didn't know what the fuck we were talking about, please subscribe to our YouTube channel anyway. And
Let us know in the comments.
let us know in the comments. We'll read them live on air. I always say that, and we don't have any comments, so that's why I don't do it. But check out some of the other episodes where we talk about some of the movies we love the most, and let us know if you like them too, or if you don't like them, or how you think we could adjust the show. Because,
I'm not adjusting the show for some fucking loser viewer.
Oh, wow. Going right hard in. Well, you can just let us know if there's a movie you think we should talk about.
I guess.
That'll be it for another episode. Thank you for listening. Right, Garrett? Thank you. Bye-bye. Craig, say bye.
Bah.